the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another spectacular Sunday evening as the drivers are out on the speedway for the final 20 seconds of practice here tonight at Talladega, as this is the NSRA Sunday Select Series presented by pad.org. I am your host for tonight. My name is KR Stolfus, and in the booth with me is none other than veteran driver himself, Travis Elliott.
Hey KR, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing just fine, and getting ready to go into qualifying. So Travis, qualifying coming up. These drivers have 5 minutes to lay down 2 laps. What do you think? Who's going to be the fast one out here tonight?
I mean, you threw out a name for I believe it was where's he at on the speed charts here? Everything just got screwed up. I believe it was Dan Sadusky. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Or Donald Sadusky. Sorry about that. You told me to look out for him, and you can't ever count out Hunter Reynolds. Honestly, really anybody could be on that pole, KR.
Right, anybody can put it on pole, and we're going to find out who is going to do it as JD Crow in the 17 machine makes his way out onto the speedway. JR Johnson out there as well in the number 4 machine here tonight. He is riding right along that wall. We'll see if he can put his car up inside that front row.
Yeah, qualifying is always always important around Talladega because it's a whole lot different qualifying style wise, because the track is so wide and you have the extra 400 yards or 400 feet, whatever it is, going to the start finish line. So there's a lot of room for error. It's just all about being smooth and trying to lay down the fastest lap, of course, and always being qualifying around a super speedway. It doesn't really matter too much, but it helps a little bit.
So as JR continues to cycle around along the high side, we'll check in on a few other drivers here as well. Mark Mann in the 04 machine, another driver looking to put it on the front row, and one who is capable of it, but so far I don't believe he has a pole position yet this season. And as I look through my notes, I don't see him as listed as a pole award, but tonight could be his night.
Yeah, Mark Mann's a very strong driver. I'm very familiar with him, and he has the ability to go out and lead races and win races. It just seems that he has trouble getting into victory lane. He's finished P2 the past 2 weeks, which is nothing to scoff at, but I'm sure Mark Mann is very interested in getting into victory lane here, KR.
Check in on a few other drivers. The 11 machine of Roy Grandy out there. Right now he finds himself sitting in 4th spot as 10 drivers have taken a qualifying time so far. Gainforth with a 50.974 sitting on top of the leaderboard. David Gainforth already doing his 2 laps, and here comes JR Johnson to steal the pole away from him.
And as soon as you say that, John Johnson takes the pole away from JR. A lot of fast drivers out here tonight. It's going to be so much fun as Hunter Reynolds coming on, I believe, his 2nd lap. We'll be interested to see where Hunter hops out of this qualifying run. Mark Mann with a strong 2nd place currently.
Yep, Mark posting a 50.794, good enough for third place, as JD Crow in the 17 machine takes over the top spot with a very fast lap at a 50.756. Hunter Reynolds right now working his way around this speedway. We'll see where he's going to finish out. But as we do each and every week, guys, we are going to step away for the national anthem. We'll be right back with tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the drivers are starting to take to the grid. And with that being said, let's go ahead and run down tonight's starting lineup. On the inside of row number 1 in the 17 machine with a 50.756, it's none other than JD Crow. On his outside in the 19 machine will be Donald Sadusky. Row number 2 will be the 3 of Paul Servant, and on his outside, the 26 of Hunter Reynolds. Row number 3 going to be Jimmy Reynolds in the 25 and John Johnson in the 22 machine. Row number 4 will be the 27 of Sean Stevens on the inside, and on his outside, the 04 of Mark Mann. And row number 5, the 88 of Dana Osborne and the 388 of Doug Johnson.
Row number 6, the 37 of J.R. Johnson on the inside. Outside of him will be the 62 of Les Levy. Row number 7 will be the 11 of Roy Grandy. And the 65 of Jason Grahams. Row 8 will be the 21 Daniel Holloway. On the outside of him will be the 30 of Donald Bennett. In row number 9, the 84 of Lynn McNeese, with the 101 of David Gainforth on his outside. Row number 10 will be the 20 of Justin Levine, with the 40 of Anthony English on the outside of him.
All right, and then row number 11 will be the 4 of Chris Akers and the 61 of DJ Mitchell. Row number 12 will be Russell Hancock and Ben Peterson. And then we have row number 6, 8, there's a number in there somewhere, the 64 of Austin Derbyshire and the 011 of Jason Kinzer. Dan Harrington and Stephen Herman in row number 14. And finally, it will be the 31 of Todd Poston, bringing up the tail end of this field here tonight. Chris Akers scheduled to make it out here, but so far that 4 machine of Chris Akers still sitting on pit road. We'll see if he can make it out before he ends up too many laps down.
I'm wondering if that's a strategy call by him or if he just got loaded in a little too late and missed the start. But I mean, as long as you can maybe get a caution early on or stick it out, and hopefully you don't go a lap down. But it's not really too detrimental if you start from the pits here.
Our strategy for the races here tonight, we do have a 50% fuel limit. We are running 75 laps. Each driver has 2 fast repairs available to them. What that means is, well, we're going to have a 28 car field for most of this night. And in fact, if we go green flag to checkered flag like we did last week, oh man, it's going to be a heck of a good time.
Yeah, plenty of room to go 3 wide, 4 wide through the tri-oval, even 5 wide if you want to get really brave. And we're going to see where these boys are in 75 laps and see who comes out victorious around here, KR.
With the pace car down and out of the way, the 17 of JD Crow and the 19 of Donald Sadusky bring this field towards the start-finish line. A long wait through the tri-oval. But I'll tell you what, once the green flag flies, these drivers are going to let it all hang out as the throttle is picked up and away we go. And this race is about to get a whole lot louder.
Yep. Outside line getting a little slow start, but you know, Hunter Reynolds is an excellent pusher, and wouldn't be surprised if he pushes him up to the door of the 3, or if the 17 is going to hop up.
Down the back stretch we go for the first time, the 17 and the 19 running very close to side by side. Not quite yet clear is the 3 of Paul Servant, but be watching for him as soon as he clears the nose of that outside lane to try and make that move to the outside and get that momentum going.
Yeah, they're already 3 wide in the back of the pack. I believe that is outside of the 82. Find it right here, but they looks like they settled back in. And KR, you know, that 3rd lane is wide enough to fit 2 cars, or that this I mean, really the lanes around here are wide enough to fit 2 cars in all the lanes except the wall. But I mean, do you think we're going to see any kind of, I guarantee we'll see 3 wide, but you think we're going to see 4 wide at some point?
Oh, absolutely. We're already seeing some 3 wide. That is the 88 of Dana Osborne taking a peek to the outside, and the 21 of Daniel Holloway, but they check right back down into 2 lanes. But yeah, especially towards the end of the race, if we have a big group like this, absolutely, we will see 3 and 4 wide.
Yeah, it looks like the pack is kind of getting a little spread out, except for your, what is it, top 20, top 18 within a second of one another, and then kind of scatters out around towards the back of the pack. And Chris Akers is actually back on track. He is 25 seconds back from the lead. He's probably praying for a caution to come out. And with how these guys are racing, KR, as the 21 goes 3 wide with the 20 behind him, we'll see if they can build a run up here. There's the 3 of Paul Servant.
Big
goes
move.
up into the track, yeah. With the 80 Dana Osborne going to the top of that in front of his teammate, I believe. And the 3 of Paul Servant hopping up there too, and the 20 hop back down. A lot of team games going on right now. Hunter Reynolds is, I believe, going to lead this lap. It was Donald Sadusky led that lap. But that...
So, yeah, the 19 of Sadusky leads the lap, but the 3, the 88, as they work that 3rd lane, Daniel Holloway dropping down behind Lynn McNeese. We're starting to see some drivers venture up into that 3rd lane to try and make some ground, and Dana Osborne and Paul Servant look to be moving forward a little bit here.
Yeah, you really have to pinch it. You have to pinch it down around here, as the 20 is going to get a massive push from the 21 right now. And KR, the more cars you get on that top side, as you can see, as soon as the 21 and the 20 kind of went up there, they probably made about an entire car's worth of momentum, and they're just going to keep going right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more cars hop in that lane, but it looks like people are trying to be really conservative, as the 3 is doing the exact thing that you need to do, and that is pinch the middle line in. And you can see that when he does that, he gets a massive run on the outside, and he'll probably end up clearing Hunter right here. maybe even the 19 and drop all the way to the bottom.
And he does exactly as you say, but now he moves back up to the middle lane. So Paul Servant trying to make that 3 machine as wide as a double stuffed Oreo. But Paul Servant now in the middle lane. 3 wide racing action. Dana Osborne on the outside lane leading the charge for the moment in that group. That 20 machine of Justin Levine pushing hard on him. Daniel Holloway in the 21 right there as well. So drivers all over this track as we work lap number 6 of 75 here tonight. And man, our fuel strategies here. I actually forgot to see when we'd hit pit lane, but Travis, maybe we can rely on you. 50% fuel load. When do you expect them to hit pit road?
50% around Talladega. I believe it's around 17 laps. Possibly 16 to 17 laps if I remember correctly. You know, a little more if you can save. We saw Justin Levine save a lot of fuel last week and go more laps than anybody else with his teammate of I believe Austin Derbyshire. So I'm wondering if they're going to try to do the same thing around here and try to play the fuel game for this entire race. As you see, that outside line is just falling back. All the momentum's gone on that outside. I believe that happened when the 19 jumps up in front of Hunter Reynolds. So much spread on the bottom line, KR. They're just gonna go. They're gonna go right past this inside line, and the 19's probably gonna hop back down in front of that 3.
Sure does, as he slides back to the front of the field down on that inside lane. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds leading the second lane now. Dana Osborne in the 88 had fallen all the way back to the 6th car in the second lane before he tucks in behind the 84 of Lynn McNeese.
As the 20 car goes back up to the top, I wonder if he's seeing that they're checking up really bad because the 21's going up there with them. You know, that's a really smart thing to do. Is as you get longer into runs, you can see they're just getting a massive head of steam right now, and that's because the inside line or the middle line is checking up a lot. And I'm wondering if it's because Hunter's maybe he got hot and that he needs to air the car out, but you know, that middle line being really timid, it's just costing them time. As you can see, 2 more cars, the 88 of Dana Osborne and the 64 of Austin Derbyshire, are hopping up to that 3rd line. And it looked like Lynn McNeese might also. Looks like he's kind of getting second guessed, but the 88 is on his door, so he cannot go up. And you know, KR, this early in the race, you definitely need to see if that outside line can work and when it can work, because as you saw earlier, Paul Servant surged to the front, and they're seeing that it's working. They just have to get the right people and run the right line to get it to work. And you know, we'll see if the 20 can get a massive run right now. And you can just see all the momentum that outside line carries compared to the inside and that middle line. There's less cars in both of those lines, or there's more cars in both of those lines, and that outside is just going to come even to them.
One check in real quick on the 4 of Chris Akers. You can see that he is doing his best to stay out in front of this field, but they are very quickly closing in on him. Akers on the lead lap for the moment. That field looming large in his back window.
Yeah, he's going to get caught out here because they're 3 wide, so there's nowhere to really go unless he goes to the apron, or they're going to tuck back into line. And I believe as soon as I said that, the 20 of Justin Levine hopped back down into line to follow. And I believe, if I'm not wrong, Chris Akers is a Candy Shack team member. So I wonder if the 21 of Daniel Holloway, who's on the bot. So I thought that they might have went to the top to try to keep him in front of this pack here, keep him on the lead lap as much as they can. But it looks like Chris Akers is going to drop to the apron and let this pack go on by him.
Good news for the 4 of Chris Akers. He is the first and only car 1 lap down now. Plenty of time to have that caution come out and him to be the free pass.
Yeah, hopefully you can, with how strung out this field is, hopefully you can hop into line. You lose a lot of momentum and time letting the pack pass you on the apron, and hopefully he'll be able to just get into the back of this field and keep a run, which it looks like he should be able to with how spread out the field is, with Stephen Herman you know, being the last car on the lead lap.
So right now, Stephen Herman, last car on the lead lap, but he is only 2.4 seconds behind our race leader, Donald Sadusky. Squirmin' Herman himself tucked in behind his teammate, 3 Wide Motorsports drivers. That's Todd Poston and Squirmin' Herman. Squirmin' Herman
contact
goes way up high. It looks like
25.
Doug Johnson in the 388 machine has popped an engine.
Yeah, it looks like he got together, and he's getting together with the 30, and they're spinning in front of him. Caution flag is out. I believe that started with the 388 trying to get down with the 22 and the 26, and looks like him and the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds just came together and got in the wall and blew his engine, and you know, it was just the chain reaction of all this happening.
So 2 cars crashing here down the back stretch as we go to our first caution of the night. And that's going to take care of any green flag pit stop strategies that drivers were trying to figure out. It's also going to help the 4 of Chris Akers.
Yep, he's going to be the lucky dog, and he's going to be back on the lead lap and be able to, you know, have a strategy with his teammates and get that Candy Shack team all together and see what they can do.
All right, guys, so while the field gets set up, we're going to step away for a minute. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the drivers have all made pit stops. Jason Kinzer dropping all the way to the tail of this field, a very long pit stop for the 011 machine. I would venture a guess there, Travis, that he's trying to hold on to all 2 of his fast repairs and didn't want to do any fast repairing this early in the race.
Yeah, by the looks of his car, I would assume that that's the same. He has a lot of rear end damage, and hopefully he doesn't have a whole lot of engine damage, which he was in the pits for extended period of time, like you said. So we'll see how he fares on this long run, and hopefully he doesn't drop too far back to where he doesn't lose the lead pack.
All right, speaking of the lead pack, the lights have gone out on the Ford Mustang. JD Crowe in the 17 machine. Well, winning the race off of pit road, beating Paul Servant and Donald Sadusky. He's going to start on the inside of row number 1 with Paul Servant on his outside. Then it's Sadusky and the 26 of Hunter Reynolds in row number 2 for this restart. And then finally, row number 3, we're going to see John Johnson in the 22 machine, Sean Stevens in the 27.
Yeah, the 4 of Chris Akers just came back out of the pits after being in there for about 45 seconds for a stop. I'm wondering if he's trying to get some damage fixed, which I don't think he had any damage, KR, but and it also looks like the 18 of Ben Pedersen is also in the pits as well, and he might have pulled it into the garage.
All right, we will keep an eye on the 18 machine to see if he is going to make it back out or not. But yeah, looking like Ben for the moment deciding that he is done racing. He might make it back out. You never know with these things as the 4 Chris Akers closes in at the tail end of this field. The 17 of JD Crowe ready to go wide open racing once again, finding himself leading this field to a green flag. JD Crowe, our pole sitter here tonight, and now back on that pole position for this restart as the green flag comes out. And that outside lane already showing some good momentum as they work their way into turn number 1.
Yeah, the 19 is all over the 17's bumper with a big gap between him and the 22, and that might affect the run that inside line can get. And we've already seen people go 3 wide. I wonder if we're going to see it happen early again, or if people are just testing the waters. As Hunter Reynolds is going to give the 3 of Paul Servant a big shove, and unfortunately, it's not going to get him anywhere clear, but it's going to make that outside line move forward a little bit more. But that inside is just too strong off the turns. KR 19 all over the bumper of JD Crowe. And you can see that they got a massive run coming out of that turn. But here comes the 3 and Hunter Reynolds again on the outside. Doesn't look like they're going to clear him at all. And the 17 is going to lead this lap here. And as soon as I say that, it looks like Paul and Hunter on the outside, getting that outside line moving with momentum as the 88 of Dana Osborne drops in, taking another car out of this lane.
The Paul Servant continuing to work the outside lane. The 17 of JD Crowe down along that yellow line. No rules here saying that you can't drop down below the yellow line. A lot of drivers don't usually do that unless you have to get out of the way for a lap car or something. Kind of a bold move to drop down below the yellow line down the backstretch. We do see it from time to time as one of our cars did come off at turn number 4. It can be a little hard to see, Travis, the corner exit, or when you actually are on the straightaway when you're pretty deep in that field.
Yeah, it's even hard. It's hard being the 3rd car in line also. As you can see, that inside line checked up a little bit, and Paul Servant being able to take advantage of the massive push that he got by Hunter Reynolds. And it looks like somebody just got split by the 21. I believe that's the 27 of Sean Stevens. So now Hunter Reynolds has the 21 of Daniel Holloway behind him on on this currently outside line, with the 27 of Sean Stevens just dropping like a rock. And It looks like the 88, and I believe that is the 4 of J.R. Johnson, kind of looking to the outside to see if they can get anything going. But yeah, KR, like you said, the vision in these cars is so weird. I don't know if you have an in-car camera for somebody who's following a car, but the spoiler is clear on the top, so you can actually see through the first car a little bit. But seeing the corner entry, especially when you're up under somebody pushing, that's the more difficult thing, at least for me personally. And that's why usually we'll see people kind of poking out to the left side of cars when they're coming up the turn so they can see the corner entry.
We are on board with the 19 Sadusky, and you can see very close racing through the tri-oval at the front of this field, and just how difficult it is to see through here as Donald Sadusky right down on that yellow line. You know, Travis, I prefer actually being on the high side in these super speedway races. I feel it gives me a lot clearer vision, a whole lot of other stuff, a little bit better point of view as well.
Yeah, I agree with that, because especially if you get trapped on that bottom lane, it's almost impossible for you to go anywhere. I just like the freedom of having, you know, nothing besides the wall outside of me, and even then, if I'm in the middle and somebody takes me 3 wide, I still have a little bit more of a chance, because, you know, I can still pinch down more than the inside line can go anywhere. So yeah, I'm 100% in agreement. As the 4 of Chris Akers, who was just previously a lap down, is making a run on the outside. But it looks like he is going nowhere because he has no help. Well, it'll be interesting to see how much of a run he can make by himself, if any at all.
So Akers in the 4 after getting back on the lead lap, trying to make some noise in this outside lane. And Akers has gained quite a few spots since this restart, so he continues his march forward. We'll see if he can join up with his other Candy Shack Motorsports drivers that are sitting at the front of this field. Do want to point out that the 18 of Ben Peterson does look like he could be done here for the night. He has packed up and gone home. So the 18 with an early exit, that leaves us with 28 cars. All 28 cars are still on the lead lap.
Yeah, Hunter Reynolds clearing that inside line, dropping down in front of the 3 of Paul Servant. But you have that outside line creeping up with the 61 of DJ Mitzel, the 31 of Todd Poston, and the 4 of Chris Akers. You know, then the Paul Servant is going to jump up to that line in front of his teammate of Dan Holloway, and I believe that is the 4 of J.R. Johnson and the 88 of Dana Osborne behind him. So very interesting to see if the teammate are coming out, and, you know, people shuffling in front of their teammates, as Hunter Reynolds is kind of by himself with no real teammate around him. But, you know, that 17 is a pretty solid pusher in my book. And it looks like the 4 is still up top with the 2 cars of DJ Mitzel and Todd Poston. And it looks like the 3 almost cleared Hunter there. Almost got turned by his teammate of the 21. Almost a bad push. And the 4 is going to hop back into the line. And that outside line with DJ and Todd is just going to fall away more than likely, unless they can get some help in front or behind.
Another lap being completed, and as we begin lap 24 of 75. And this race, well, is kind of getting close to the halfway mark. Last time these drivers were on pit road was lap 13. So we are once again inching closer to green flag pit stops. And Travis, there's 2 cars on that 3rd lane, the 61 and the 31. That's DJ Mitzel and Todd Poston. Those cars in that 3rd lane are going to have a really hard time hitting pit road here.
Yeah, they're definitely they got a couple laps to get either, you know, clear this field or fall back in line. Which the 88 thought about going up to the top, he might have just killed the run. But you know, they're going to get some help now with the 343 of Russell Hancock in that top line, which they're going to have to get moving here in order to either clear the field, or they're just going to have to take their loss and drop in and try to find a way to the bottom, or hope that they can go a little bit longer and let the field clear up in front of them. As the 88 hops in front of the 61 and the 31, he's going to get a pretty big push by that 61. He timed that just about as good as you can get to where you don't destroy the momentum of that outside line. And they're going to be 3 wide coming across this line here for this next lap, KR. And, well, there's a big wiggle in the inside line. It's going to check up the inside line. And you can see going into turn 1, for a split second, the 21 and the 3 were in the same line. This track is extremely wide, and you can easily run 4 cars in those 2 lanes if you want to get very, very close racing. And, you know, the 88 is just doing such a good job of keeping momentum up. That 21 is going to push him clear of, or the 61 pushed him clear of the 21. And I'm wondering if now that outside line is just going to fall away, because of when you have a car that's leading your momentum that good, sometimes it'll either kill your run or it'll make your run better. As another 4th car hops into the line about 2 car lengths back to the 343, and then you have another car quite a ways back, almost getting with the, I believe that's the 011 of Jason Kinzer. KR, you know, like you said, they're coming to green flag pit stops here soon. What do you think that this outside line should do in this situation? Should they cut their losses and, you know, fall in line, or do you think they should try to push as hard as they can to this front?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been in that situation before, and you kind of have to adjust your fuel strategy a little bit if you get stuck in that outside lane. Good news is a lot of drivers from time to time try to short pit. When those short pits start happening or whatever, spots do open up for you to drop down. But yeah, I have seen a few cars get stuck in the outside lane and have ran out of fuel coming to their pit stalls.
And not to mention, they're taking the long way around the track, losing, you know, a little bit more fuel than the people going around the bottom only. It's not much, but it, you know, every gallon counts around here. As you can see, the 011 of Jason Kinzer, we thought that he might have not been able to keep up, but he's in here running, you know, mid-pack, holding his own through this green flag stint. Hopefully he can get with some people as he gets turned. Big wreck on the front straight.
Lynn
and they're
McNeese
still wrecking.
Goes airborne in the 84. Several cars getting involved in this one. Let's take another look at this as they were going through the tri-oval. Jason Kinzer gets together with Lynn McNeese and the 65 of Graves, and then the front row also having their issues as they all went spinning. The 711 of Stephen Herman getting caught up in that one.
They took out the 3 of Paul Servant. I believe Hunter Reynolds might have gotten a little bit of damage from somebody coming across his nose, but that was a big wreck, KR.
So separate incidences out here on the track has put us back under yellow. Kind of crazy that Squirmin' Herman and Hancock are going to make contact under yellow here. But yeah, that was just a wild chain of events right there.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, you didn't hear a spotter say that there was a car inside, or there's just a missing communication with, you know, where they were going, but you know, a small mistake led to a massive wreck for a lot of cars getting a lot of damage. And I assume that, you know, most of these guys that are blown up or have severe damage are going to come down and get their fast repair, KR.
Yeah, especially if you're smoking, you're going to have to use your fast repair at this point. Good news is we're almost to the halfway point. That's a good little bit of break for you there to get through the first half of the race and still have one fast repair left. Dan Harrington in the 82 going to be the first car off of pit road.
It looks like the 4 of Chris Akers had to tow, unfortunately. That's just not, that doesn't make you feel good. You know, you come back from a lap down and you have to tow. It's really, you know, a kick in the gut while you're on the ground.
All right, guys. Well, with all that going on, we are going to step away for a minute. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight we are here with the NSRA Pad Sunday Select Series, as we are bringing our second caution of the night to a close, working lap 31 of 75. DJ Mitzel going to inherit the lead as several drivers peeled off and hit pit road. J.R. Johnson in the 4 on his outside, then Todd Poston in the 31 and the 22 of John Johnson for row number 2. This most recent crash has caused a few drivers to have to burn their fast repairs. We saw a lot of cars smoking. Chris Akers, unfortunately, looked like maybe he had to have some assistance back to his pit lane, Travis. He now finds himself one lap down.
Yeah, but he's gonna, you know, fight for that spot again. Hopefully he can get another lucky break and get back on the lead lap. It looks like most of the cars that were in that incident there fixed their damage, except the 26 of Hunter Reynolds, who has some pretty, you know, severe front end damage, especially for a super speedway. So we'll see how he fares throughout this run. And you know, the 011 of Jason Kinzer did a pretty good job staying with the pack under damage. So I wonder if Hunter saw that and, you know, thought he could do the same thing as well. And the pace car is off. The slow creep to this start-finish line begins. There's a lot of people pitting, you know, on that one to go by. So the inside line, just a massive line of cars compared to this outside. So we'll see if somebody from back there is going to try to make a run to gain a lot of positions here. And they're still creeping. The 61 of DJ Missile with the 4 of JR Johnson. The green flag comes out. 22 is all over the fours bumper here, pushing for everything that he can, trying to give that outside line a great start, which you have not seen a couple times for this entire night. It's the 61 of DJ Mitzel is getting a massive push by the 31 of Todd Poston, with JD Crow, your pole sitter, on the third car on the inside. And, you know, KR, the restarts for the outside line have just not been anything to be proud about, really, this entire race that we've seen.
It does seem that this outside lane has struggled from the drop of the green flag, but by the time they come around to complete the next lap, they are right there back into the mix of it. So maybe just a little bit of a trade-off, trying to get that extra momentum rolling takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, and you, as you saw before the restart, the massive line on the inside, well, that line is now up on the outside with the outside line just having the numbers game right now. We'll see if that pays off in the momentum here in a couple laps. But the 22 is doing everything he can to get J.R. Johnson up to the front of DJ Mitzel to let him drop down. And I'm wondering if, you know, the 4 is having some trouble with the 22, and if they can get lined up properly, or the inside of DJ and Todd is just so strong, and you're gonna have to do everything that you can to make that outside line work.
DJ Mitzel, Todd Poston, JD Crow, the first 3 cars down on the inside lane. Then it's J.R. Johnson, John Johnson, and our third car is none other than Donald Sadusky in that outside lane. Mark Mann in the 04. We haven't talked a whole lot about him this race, but he is starting to work his way forward here. So he is now the 4th car in the outside lane. Kind of been a quiet race for Mark Mann. Looks like he's doing all he can to just keep his nose clean and enjoy the race up until the last few laps before he's ready to mix it up.
Yeah, that's always kind of how Mark normally is. As the 21 of Daniel Holloway might be leading a pretty sizable number of cars, as they're 4 wide through the tri-oval going into turn 1. It looks like the 3 is going to hop down in front of the 40, and they got that sorted out. But big checkup with the 64 and the 26 right there. And looks like the 64 just got moved out of the way by Hunter there for a second, as the 21 is just going to drop back. I'm wondering if that's, you know, he's going to hop in that top lane right there. And, you know, that's the risk you play, KR. You try to go 3 wide, and somebody tops you and goes 4 wide, as Dana Osborne and the 4 are going to go to that wall. Chris Akers being a lap down, wanting to get his lap back the hard way, it seems. Trying not to rely on any kind of cautions, but it looks like they're going to hop back down the line in front of the 88 did. The 4 is going to stay up top, though. We'll see where they are in a couple laps. But looks like the 4 of J.R. Johnson is still, you know, trying to get in front of DJ Mitzel, and they're going to get a good run here off the turn 2. And the 20 of Justin Levine is going to go to the wall. We saw him do this last week very early on, and he's going to get a big move of momentum right there with the 88, with the pretty much the entire Candy Shack Motorsports team and his teammate, you know, making the outside line work. They have the numbers game, so it wouldn't be surprised if you see this 20 just clear this entire field right here, KR.
Yeah, Justin last week was a dominant car in the fact that they were on a very different strategy than everyone else, and he had a shot to win until the calamity happened on the last lap, giving Paul Servant his 2nd win of the season. But Justin Levine once again out in front of this field here, and it seems here tonight, as he is stuck on the same strategy as everyone else because of the 2 caution flags, he is finally going to take over the top spot, dives down to the inside lane, and now the 88 of Dana Osborne on his outside.
Yeah, you saw the power of momentum and numbers. The outside line is so dominant, especially when you get more than 4 or 5 cars in there. they just pushed the 20 clear past 2 rows of cars. As I believe that is the 88 of Dana Osborne's going to hop down in front of the 20 now, and the 64 of Austin Derbyshire being pushed by the 21 of Daniel Holloway. And then, you know, there's only 2 cars out there, so I would assume that 21 hops in line. The 64 not so lucky, not going to be able to take advantage of the momentum that they had, and you know, gained a lot of position. So he's probably going to drop pretty far back unless somebody comes up there and helps him, or he can pop down into the lane below him. But you know, we've seen the dominance of the third line KR, and that just makes me even more excited that these guys are figuring out, you know, halfway, just about halfway now, I believe. Actually, we're over halfway now. How strong that outside line is, as the 3 of Paul Servant is going to clear the 88 by about a car and a half, KR. And the outside line, it just makes me so excited for the end of this race.
Yeah, it's always a good time when you see him 3 and 4 wide out here at Talladega. Paul Servant in the 3, one of the cars involved in our most recent caution, but doing a good job at recovering from that one. Now finds himself second car down on the inside lane. Chris Akers in the 4, not one to sit back and wait for a caution to bring him a lap back. He is now leading this outside lane in that 4 machine, and he is trying to put himself back on the lead lap, but he is in desperate need of a caution, either if he gets his lap back or he stays the first car 1 lap down.
Yeah, no stages in these races, so he's gonna have to do everything he can. He's gonna clear the 20 and hop down that outside line with a big push from the 22 of John Johnson. And it looks like with that momentum, the 22 might actually even clear the 4 out of, you know, going into turn 1, out of turn 2. But you know, looking back through the field, Hunter Reynolds, who has a good amount of front end damages, doing the same thing that we saw Jason Kinzer do earlier, and that's just holding your spot and not, you know, burning one of those faster pairs, and just kind of being patient throughout the race. And you know, it's good to see him being a smart driver and knowing that, you know, being observant and seeing that he can make that work for him. As it looks like there's a nice little race going on at the front of the pack again, KR.
Chris Akers in the 4 being pushed hard by the 20 of Justin Levine, and Justin going to take the race lead away from the 22. That outside lane looks like it's really fallen back quite a bit here, as Akers and Levine have really gained a lot of speed, and now the 20 jumps up to try and make his way around the 4. Now we're going to see 3 wide racing through the trioval.
Yeah, but you know, that just gave the 20 a shot just out of the turn. The 22 is going to get saved by the 61 and 31, making a big push up to the front, as they are very close with Lyndon East and the 61 of DJ Mitzel being so tight going through that turn. And we'll see the 22 drop down the line, leaving the 61's bumper, and you know, kind of hampering that outside line's momentum. Now they're gonna have to build up an entire run just from the 22, kind of killing their run. And they're looks like they're trying to get something started again on this outside, KR. And you know, everybody's jockeying for position in the middle of the field, trying to figure out what line's going where. And at some point you got to think, you know, we're coming up on green flag pit stops here in a little bit, but they haven't had one yet this entire race due to cautions. You know, might actually see him in the next 2 to 3 laps, KR.
Very well could. I want to check in on a few other drivers we haven't talked a whole lot about here tonight. The 30 machine of Donald Bennett was involved in the first caution where Doug Johnson popped his engine. Bennett got turned a little bit sideways. That also collected Jason Kinzer. And right now, Kinzer in the 011 machine running all by himself. He is on the lead lap, but he has lost the draft, and they are closing in on him quickly. He may or may not be able to make it, as we do have Doug Johnson hitting pit road. Jimmy Reynolds in the 25 machine, now the last car in this lead group.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that was he had a pit early because he was on a different pit strategy than everybody, or he had a pit by himself. It kind of is unfortunate for him because he's gonna have to do a lot of work to either get back around here and not lose the pack when they pit. But anything can really happen around here. Is the 61 and 31 are just doing everything that they can to make this outside line work. But the 20 of Justin Levine is pushing that 19 of Donald Sadusky so well. He's keeping that inside line with their momentum up and making it really hard to clear them, KR.
As we go on board with the 25 of Jimmy Reynolds, you can see everyone in front of this 25 machine. 3 wide racing action, 2 wide. It's all over the place for these guys, and they are having a heck of a time out there, I am sure, when you are running 3 wide like that. Travis, I don't know about you, but anytime I get in a 3 wide situation, even if it is Talladega, I still kind of grip the wheel just a little bit tighter.
Yeah, it's not as bad when you're on the outside with the wall because you have a little bit more breathing room. But when you're in the middle lane, you're getting pinched down by the guys on the top trying to get as good a run as they can, and to try to hamper your momentum out of the turn. And being the guy on the inside line, you just drew the shortest straw, and you just gotta, like you said, grip the wheel a little bit tighter and hold your line as the best as you can. Because it looks like the 388 of Douglas Johnson is still in the pits. So I'm wondering if he has an issue there, or if he's maybe putting it into the hauler for the rest of this race.
Well, so far, the 388 sitting in his pit stall. They are working on that machine right now. Until we know anything more about it, we're just going to keep an eye on him and see how this plays out. But yeah, Doug Johnson now finding himself 4 laps down and counting. We're on lap 47 of 75. Justin Levine and John Johnson battling for the race lead. Chris Akers in the 4. He is the first car 1 lap down as he disappears just a little bit with an internet connection issue. And that is something that no driver wants to have happen, especially here at a super speedway, because when that car disappears, it really breaks up the momentum of everyone behind you.
Yeah, even for a split second, little internet blip like that will really, like you said, just will destroy momentum, especially if you're leading a pack. And you see the inside line just getting a massive line of cars. So I'm assuming they're going to be pitting here soon. And the outside line, Len McNeese in the 22 and the 30, all trying to do their best to get in line or go as many laps as they can to try to get off cycle from all these cars on the inside line. So I'd assume we're going to see some people hit pit road this time by, or maybe next time by at least, KR. So we'll see how their cycles run out. And as soon as I say that,
here they
everybody is hitting pit road.
Huge group on pit lane. Couple drivers locking the brakes up. So far, it looks like everyone's going to get through that one, but holy cow, rush hour traffic on pit road. Stephen Herman gets turned by the 4 of JR Johnson. And Herman going to have to get it sorted out and into his pit lane as the 711 does that, but man, that is going to lose him some time. JD Crow in the 17 did not come down pit road, neither did the 22 of John Johnson, and David Gainforth is going to win the race off of pit road in the 101 machine. Very
JD
solid start
right now. Maybe, I guarantee you JD saw all those guys hitting pit road right then and thought, that's probably going to be an issue, so I'm not even going to try. It looks like the 22 is slow. Looks like he might have ran out of fuel, KR.
Yeah, the 22 looking like he is out of fuel as he is crawling to pit lane. And, Travis, I mentioned it. It can happen when you get stuck in a situation like that, when everyone pushes it to the limit. The 22 of Johnson, who had been running at the front, closing in on his pit stall very slowly. But Dana Osborne in the 88 going to come around and take the race lead here as JD Crow finally gets serviced by his crew. So green flag pit stops now done and over with, and Dana Osborne picking up the race lead with Sadusky right behind him.
And we went from, you know, the entire field being within about a second of one another to a bunch of groups running different lines, and everybody trying to, you know, get back set up. As you know, we have a 3-car pack of the 62 of Les Levy being pushed by the 26 of Hunter Reynolds, followed by the 04 of Mark Mann. They're running about 11th, 12th, and 13th, and they're, you know, making up some ground. The lead pack is now 2x2, so we've seen, you know, cars make up a lot of time, you know, running tandem comparative to the pack. So we'll see how they do in a couple laps and see if they can catch back up. It looks like they're trying to get sorted out and, you know, get around all this slow traffic, and it looks like they're also kind of trying to save their fuel, or save their the engines a little bit, switching out positions, as JD Crow is going to join them also, and they're going to have a big line of cars behind them. And KO, they're about 5 seconds back from the lead with a massive pack behind them. I wouldn't say massive, pretty decent pack now. So we have three distinct packs filing out, with the lead pack being led by Dana Osborne, and they are just pulling time on
Mark Mann, JD Crow, the second pack in trouble. Mark Mann going up and over. JD Crow spinning, and it looked like maybe Gainforth getting involved as well. No, I don't mean Gainforth. Who was that I saw? Just a big stack up here, guys. We're gonna take another look at this one. Derbyshire involved in it in the 64. JD Crow, Roy Grandy, Jason Kinzer, all going for a spin.
A lot of contact Reynolds was involved too, which we saw Hunter, you know, really babying that car when he got when he was involved in that wreck earlier, babying that car to the next stop. And he has a little bit of front end damage now again, so we'll probably go down to the pit road and get that fixed up. But you know, we're within about coming to 20 to go here soon. And,
yep, 23 laps to go. This does put us just a little bit outside of our fuel window, but man, maybe somebody could try and stretch it. But well, I don't know if I'd want to try from 23 laps to go.
Yeah, you know, you might see some people stay out here because they know everybody's gonna have to pit one more time at least. So you know, if you're in the back of the pack and you know you really got nothing to lose trying to get off cycle from these leaders. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a couple people do that, stay out to try to make some time up. But it looks like everybody's trying to go down pit road. A couple people faking, but your leader, Dana Osborne, leading the 20 of Justin Levine and his teammate of the 21 of Daniel Holloway down pit road. So they're gambling on maybe another caution, because if, you know, one more caution, you can probably make it if you can save enough fuel. But the rest of these guys that are staying out are going to have to make one more stop to try to make this work, KR.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to have to make one more stop from here. Justin Levine in the 20 gets a good pit stop and wins the race off of pit road. But Donald Sadusky stayed out. You mentioned someone might try and stay out. Well, the 19 is doing just that. Sadusky stays out. And David Gainforth in the 101. Now being the first car one lap down. Chris Akers in the 4 did receive the free pass. He is under throttle trying to get caught back up to the field. But guys, we're going to step away for a quick break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. As tonight, the NSRA Sunday Select Series presented by pad.org is out here at Talladega Superspeedway with the lights going out on the Ford Mustang. Donald Sadusky, Roy Grandy on the front row for this restart. Then it's Justin Levine and Dana Osborne in the 88. Several cars sitting on pit road for the moment, trying to do the last minute top off, try and get that little bit of extra fuel, as we will be taking the green flag with 20 laps to go. And Travis, that might be all we need. There is, of course, the option for 2 green white checkered attempts.
Yeah, we're coming down to crunch time now. Taking the green flag with 20 to go. Kind of opens up the possibility of, if you think you can save for probably at least another lap and a half of fuel, then by all means try to make it. But like you said, we're gonna have 2 attempts at a green white checkered, and anything's possible with how hard these guys are driving. I wouldn't be surprised if we see at least one of those green white checkers, which always make for a really fun finish around Talladega with how wide the front straight is and the amount of moves that you can make. And just really excited for the end of this race, KR.
All right, so here we go. Lights are out on the pace car. Green flag going to come out with 20 laps to go. Donald Sadusky in the 19, Roy Grandy in the 11, looking to try and, well, get a good start here. Can one outmatch the other as the pace car moves towards pit lane? Travis, won't you take us through this green flag?
Like I said earlier, KR, they're starting the long crawl, but the inside line has always been getting a really good run at the beginning of this start. I assume it'd be the same with the 20 of Justin Levine starting behind that 19, but don't count out that outside line, KR. Green flag's going to drop here any second. Green flag is out. The inside line is going to get a pretty sizable gap between the 19 and the 20. That might hamper them going into turn, coming into turn 1 and out of turn 2. But they're just going to be 2 by 2 as you see cars trying to fall in line. Really poor start for that outside. The inside line got a poor start too, so I'm wondering if that 20 is going to hop up in front of the 11, and he does, and so does the 88 and the 21. They go to the wall, carrying all their momentum, knowing that the 11 is going to have to check up, and that's going to get the 88 clear of the 20 and the 21 clear of the 20, and the 88 is going to drop to the bottom in front of the 19. That was a great start, by the 88, and he's going to go up in front of his teammate with the 3 of Paul Servant going right behind the 21 of his teammate. And KR, that's the first time that we've seen anybody make a move like that off the start of a restart. And, it really paid off for Dana Osborne and the rest of the Candy Shack guys.
Dana going for his 2nd win of the season. A solid restart by the 88. Bold moves there. Roy Grandy falling back a little bit. Justin Levine falling back because of that. However, Donald Sadusky going to continue to hug that yellow line. DJ Mitzel, Todd Poston, they're sitting right behind that 19 machine as well. And so those 2 drivers are ones you got to keep your eye on each and every time they show up here. DJ Mitzel having a disappointing season by his standards, but only because he's not able to get the finishes. That 61 machine finds a way to be at the front of the field, and then just luck doesn't go his way. Gets caught up in an incident, maybe gets caught on pit road when a yellow flag comes out. All kinds of crazy things have happened to the 61, but he is here trying to figure out how to win this one, as he's now the 3rd car on the inside line.
Yeah, we saw the 61 and the 31 being on the outside, so this is a little bit different for them. I wonder if it's a strategy play because they know they're going to have to pit one more time and they don't want to get caught out on the wall. Maybe get some people to pit with them, as we are coming to inside the pit window. And we don't have any takers this time by, but that little peek out by all those drivers is going to kind of hamper the momentum of the inside line. as the 21 of Dan Holloway going to get pushed in front of his teammate Dana Osborne. Big shove by the 3. And KR, we have a lot of guys dropping to the inside line, so we're probably going to see pits here soon as the 21 gets a massive shove by the 88. And it's great to see these guys just pushing as hard as they can, because they know, we're about to be to the end of the race, and it's checkers or wreckers, man. Yeah,
it is go time. But Paul Servant in the 3 on the outside lane. On his inside is the 21 of Daniel Holloway, Candy Shack Motorsports, blocking out these 2 rows right now. Dana Osborne in the 88, a driver with Candy Shack Motorsports, trying to figure out where he wants to go. Our 4th driver, Chris Akers, representing Candy Shack. He is mired mid-pack in 15th spot. So he can try and get up to his teammates. That'll be 4 drivers at the front of this field. And now we do see Lynn McNeese in the 84 machine on the high side with the 4 of Akers right behind him.
Yeah, they need to run a little bit tighter to that middle line if they want to make up a lot of momentum to, catch up to this field. And nobody pitting again this time by, so I'm wondering if they're trying to get within that two green-white checkered stop KR, as they're 3 wide, a couple rows back with the 4 of Chris Akers pushing the 84, like you said. I wonder if there's going to be anybody that's going to try to hop up in front of them to get in front of this race that's being led by the Candy Shack Motorsports team. And, Justin Levine's doing everything he can to try to get the 3 of Paul Servant in front of the 21. But Dana Osborne is just such a strong pusher on that 21. And that's what happens when you have your teammate in front of you. You know how they drive, you know how they feel. As it looks like Squirm and Herman hopped up in front of the 84, so you now have 4 cars, possibly 5 going to that bid, and we have people hitting pit road, KR.
That we do. A lot of drivers hitting pit lane. The 11 of Roy Grandy leading the charge onto pit road, as we have 14 laps to go here tonight on our race at Talladega. Daniel Holloway staying out. Paul Servant right on his tour as well. Dana Osborne in the 88. Justin Levine right there in that 2nd row, following behind our 2 leaders. And Levine with a hard shove to the 3 of Paul Servant. When will this group of cars hit pit lane? Nobody can make it on fuel from here, so everyone is going to have to hit pit road at some point. But Roy Grandy leading all the drivers. I'm sorry, it's Hunter Reynolds leading the drivers who have made a pit stop. Then Les Levy and Roy Grandy, Jimmy Reynolds, Anthony English, Dan Harrington, Mark Mann, Sean Stevens, and David Gainforth all working their way down the backstretch, trying to get up to speed. We'll see just how fast they can be here and try and outrun our race leaders. It looks like they are all crashing down the backstretch.
Yeah, big junk on the back straight. A lot of people involved. Looks like it happened towards the front. It looks like the 3 is in the wall.
Yeah, the 3 of Paul Servant got turned, and then it's just chaos and calamity behind them. So a tough break for a lot of these drivers. Just a bad push by the 21 of Holloway sends Servant into the wall, and then everyone else behind them just really getting junked because they had nowhere to go.
Yep, and that's really going to help out the that like 8-car pack of Hunter Reynolds and company. They're going to be at the lead of this pack, KR, but what I'm wondering is if there is anybody who is brave enough that wasn't involved in that wreck, if they're going to try to stretch this fuel out to try to make it to the end, maybe to get some track position. But with how big that wreck was, I don't see a lot of people trying to do that, though.
Todd Poston was able to squeeze his way through. But yeah, so many cars getting caught up in that one. So the 88 of Dana Osborne, the 21 of Daniel Holloway, the 31 of Todd Poston. Now they're all going to come down pit road. This is going to benefit Hunter Reynolds and Les Levy, as they had already made pit stops. So as they catch up to the field, they're pretty much going to be able to pass everybody on pit lane.
Yeah, they're gonna walk out that those first couple rows being teammates of one another, and you know it's really fortunate for them to time it like that, KR. And you know that was probably a big team decision, and they just got extremely lucky. Not saying that I don't think that they would have caught back up to that pack, which there's a lot of capable pushers in that 8-car pack that they had, but this just makes that you know this restart even more easy because now they have the track position. It looks like the 88 of Dana Osborne is the first car out of pit road. So we'll see where he falls in line. Maybe some weird rolling is going on, but he's going up to the pace car. Might be saving fuel.
Yeah, Dana Osborne making his way all the way up to the pace car. Yeah, very interesting call here to see the 88 at the front.
It looks like Hunter and them might have gotten... Oh, that's unfortunate if that's it. But sometimes iRacing likes to... because technically I believe that they had to pass the pace car coming around, and sometimes with how timing and scoring works, it doesn't recognize you being ahead of the pack that hadn't pit or that was involved in the caution. So instead of being the leaders, they're gonna have to let all these guys by, and that, you know, that's unfortunate for them, KR.
Oh, big disappointment and a huge programming error by iRacing, as Hunter Reynolds and that group of drivers played it perfectly, but nothing to show for it, as they're going to drop behind everyone else who is on pit road as they made their way around.
Yeah, iRacing, please fix that. I've seen that bug happen all too many times, and especially in it doesn't really happen to officials. It happens more in league racing around Superspeedways, and you know, for them to make that call and get lucky, just to have them, instead of leading the pack, you know, get put about P12 and 13 and back. It's just gonna make them push even harder to the end of this race, KR. And they have 8 cars, you know, and that all pitted together. I wonder if they're gonna try to stick together and go to that top side and just, you know, have the numbers game on that outside wall. And looks like the lights are out on the pace car. The 88 of Dana Osborne with Todd Poston on its outside. We saw Todd with DJ Mitzel, who is back in P21. I believe he got caught into that mess, so that's unfortunate for him. Once again, you know, seeing his luck kind of running out right there. Let's hope he can, you know, flip that coin and, you know, get back up to the front, KR.
Yeah, we're going to take the green flag with 9 laps to go. This race so far has taken 1 hour and 9 minutes, 10 seconds, and counting. But I'll tell you what, these guys, it's been a very fast race for them inside this car. And now when you're staring at 9 laps to go, when that green flag comes out, all you can do is just really start playing scenarios in your mind. If this happens, then I'm going to do this, this, or this. And the more you are prepared, the better you can be. But man, when that green flag drops, you kind of forget everything that you were thinking about. Yeah,
you gotta get everything out of your mind that's happened in the past couple laps, and just know, like you said, you're thinking 5-6 laps in advance. I need to be here so I can go here if this happens. oh, if the outside line's going to go get momentum this lap, where am I going to go? And it's all just it's luck, KR, and we'll see as the pace car pulls off. We'll see who gets who gets really lucky in this race.
All right, here we go. Dana Osborne, Todd Poston. Dana with 1 win on the season. Todd looking for his first one this season. How is this final 9 laps going to play out? Steven Herman in the 711 machine and Lynn McNeese in the 84. The green flag is out and we are back underway. Dana Osborne in the 88 trying to hold off 3 Wide Motorsports with Todd Poston, Lynn McNeese, and Squirmin' Herman.
Yeah, there was a big, looks like the 20 of Justin Levine's getting a nice run to that middle line, as the 19 of Donald Sadusky is going to lead JD Crow, and the 22 of John Johnson on that outside line. And a big wiggle, so I wonder if that was a bad little push, bad little bump, but KR now, being in the mid-pack, you have a team, or at least 3 cars locking out that outside. So we'll see if that gets him any momentum. The 31 big wiggle after being pushed by the 84. And Dana Osborne is going to lead this lap, and that outside line is going to get a big run from that checkup in that middle lane. And KR, we saw in the last 2 races, the person leading on the last lap did not win the race. So we'll see how that pans out for whoever's leading on the last lap, to see if they can break that curse. But the 31 of Todd Poston really pinching that inside line, not letting them get any momentum out of the turn.
Ooh,
and the
Squirmin' Herman, big contact. Todd Poston goes around. Justin Levine, John Johnson, Donald Bennett, Roy Grandi, DJ Mitchell in his 2nd one in a row. Big stack up through turns 3 and 4.
That was a massive wreck. That junked a lot of cars once again, but you know what, KR? At that moment, you're just trying to do everything you can to get any position, and unfortunately, a couple cars got caught out there and got involved in another caution.
So as we watch the replay here, you can see just everyone getting smashed in with nowhere to go.
Yeah, it looked like the 64 might have gave Steven a bad bump and got him a little loose, and that just caused everybody to go up the track, and that started that entire big wreck. But the 88 of Dana Osborne kind of getting through unscathed once again. That's at least 2 wrecks that's been behind him, so he's been getting extremely lucky throughout this race, KR. I wonder if you're going to see people still have faster pairs. It'll be interesting to see who's still going to be, a factor at the end of this race, which really anybody's a factor, and they're definitely going to be able to make it on fuel with 2 green-white checkers. You're just going to see the people with some damage probably hit pit road. One of them not hitting pit road is Mark Mann. He is going to, keep his track position, and he believes that will trump any kind of, trying to fix damage or anything like that. And looks like he has a little bit of damage, but we'll see if that hampers him at all. Which, how these guys have been driving, we're probably going to see 2 green-white checkers, KR.
A lot of close racing. They were all fighting for position. Anthony English in the 40 machine, cracking the top 10 here. That 40 making some gains. Dana Osborne, though, your race leader, as he tries to make it for his 2nd win this season. And guys, we're going to step away for a quick little break. No one go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as the field is stacked up 2 by 2 once again. We get ready to try and close this one out. We are going to take the green flag with 4 laps to go here in our 75 lap scheduled distance race at Talladega. This is race number 6 of the 10 race regular season. Drivers trying to make sure that they get their name stamped in the playoff book. And Dana Osborne already has a win on the season. Stephen Herman in the 7-Eleven still looking for his first one. And Herman came close 2 weeks ago. Here he is once again with another shot at winning.
And he's got the 62 of Les Levy behind him, who might have a little bit of front end damage, so hopefully that won't hamper him that outside line too bad. But you know, the 4th car on that outside line is the 4 of Chris Akers. We saw him a lap down a couple times throughout this race, and he has the 3 at Paul Servant behind him, and on the inside of them, the 21 of Daniel Holloway, looking to get his first one of the season as the pace car pulls off the track, and these drivers get to feel with a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of pressure as they're coming to the close of this race. I don't expect anything less than absolute insanity for these last couple laps.
Absolutely, as the 88 of Dana Osborne leads the field through the tri-oval. Out of the race, Ben Peterson, Jason Kinzer, Doug Johnson, John Johnson, and JD Crow all out of this race here tonight. But the green flag picks up, and we are back underway as Osborne down on the bottom, squirming Herman with a good restart. For the first time, we see that outside lane staying right with the inside lane.
Yeah, and that's just a great push from the 62, and they're wrecking again. Mark Mann behind the pack. Another caution out. You know, okay, everybody's getting really aggressive because they know it's crunch time, but we're gonna have a green-white checkered finish right here. Our first attempt.
Mark Mann, Chris Akers get involved down the back stretch. Holloway getting involved in this one. David Gainforth, Roy Grandy, again another victim in a wreck as they all went crashing.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 coming out of turn 2 just got a little bit loose and just came back down and clipped Mark Mann on his right quarter panel and just put him into the wall. And you know, that happens sometimes. You get so much momentum, and sometimes the aero of the cars even will do that to you. But now we're gonna have another chance, and you know, a lot of cars getting involved in that wreck. And you know, we'll restart again with Stephen Herman this time being the leader. And you know, we saw last time he was leading, coming to the line, he got turned. So hopefully he'll be able to not have that happen again, KR. Get a little bit of luck on his side and get it into victory lane.
A little bit of luck never hurt anybody, and Stephen Herman would love to win one of these races. Got a solid chance right here. Dana Osborne in the 88. Kind of right now on his outside, but lights are on the pace car. These guys aren't stacking up 2 by 2 just yet, but man, yeah, this is gonna be a good race.
I mean, we've seen a lot of aggressive moves already, and I'm wondering if anybody that was involved in that still has a fast repair that they can take. Looks like a couple people coming down pit road. We'll see if they come out clean and fixed. It looks like it is the 4 of Chris Aker, 21 of Hunter Reynolds, the 21 of Dan Holloway, Mark Mann, also the 65. We'll see if they come out with a fixed car and be ready to reset for this this first green-white checkered attempt.
Couple drivers on pit road trying to service their cars. In fact, a lot of drivers are on a pit road.
And it looks like the 21 had a fresh car to get into. So did the 4. Hunter Reynolds, not so lucky. Neither is the 65 of Jason Graham's. And, you know, that's unfortunate to see Hunter Hunter and him and Les and all of them, made that excellent call and pit early and got lucky on the caution there. But with how iRacing likes to score and stuff like that, they got put back mid-pack and just destroyed that for them. So it's unfortunate to see.
Tough break on that situation.
It looks like the 4 Chris Akers got his car fixed as best as he can. He's back out there. Oh man, they're making my blood pressure rise, KR.
Well, that's a good thing if it's making it pressurize.
Yeah, they're
keeping you alive.
Yeah, they're making my heart beat a little bit faster, and I mean that's the wonderful thing about plate racing is there's never really a dull moment, even when you're just running 2x2. Especially when you're in the car, you're looking at every other car around you and making sure that they're holding their line and seeing who's holding their line the best. So if you need to get behind them, you can pit with them or put your strategy around them. Yeah, Hunter Reynolds still in pit road. It looks like he might be putting it into the hauler here.
So unfortunately, quite a few cars torn up. And, it's always a rough time at the end of a super speedway when you got to hang your helmet up and, you're sitting there looking at 3 laps to go when it happens.
Yeah, it's always disheartening when you put a bunch of effort into a plate race and, you feel like you're doing very good and you get right to the end and something happens. But that's the nature of racing tracks like this, is you're either gonna finish the race or you're gonna be wrecked, and you never know when it's gonna happen. A massive wreck can happen at any time, like you've seen tonight, and they can be pretty catastrophic for a lot of drivers.
All right, so the lights have gone out on the pace car. We're doing our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish. There are 2 attempts available, but this is our first one. So here we go. Steven Herman trying to win his first race of the season. He does have Les Levy in the 62 right behind him. Les would love to pick up a win as well. On the outside lane, you got the 88 of Dana Osborne, already visited victory lane this season. And then the 84 of Lynn McNeese right behind him. Lynn, who was involved in an incident where he was airborne earlier tonight. Looks like he's done a good job at recovering from that one to find himself on the outside of row number 2 for this restart. Then you had the 40 of Anthony English and the 343 of Russ Hancock. That is going to be the 3rd row for this restart, but the lights have gone out and the drivers are all ready to rock and roll once again. Out of the race, JD Crow, John Johnson, Doug Johnson, Jason Kinzer, Ben Peterson. Sitting on pit road trying to make some repairs is J.R. Johnson, Austin Derbyshire, and David Gainforth in the 101 is the first car 1 lap down. And now that we've got you caught up on all the housekeeping, let's get to it, as we are going to have a green-white checkered. The 7-11 of Stephen Herman going to lead this field to the green flag. As away we go, a little bit of a stuttered start. Les Levy not to the back bumper. Lynn McNeese getting to the back bumper of the 88.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a, looked like the 7-11 got into the throttle a little early. It's a big checkup on the outside. But that leaves a big gap between the 88 and the 84, and Stephen Herman's going to get a big push by the 62 and keep him even. And everybody's jockeying for position. The 61 of DJ Mitchell making a big move through the middle. Where did he come from? And the 343 and the 31 and the 19 are all going to be on this outside KR coming to the white flag. It is go time. There is no lifting for anything once they get this white flag, and Stephen Herman leading them to the final lap around here, KR, and hopefully he can stick it out with the 88 doing a big side drive. He's getting a big run on the 711 by himself, no real help. And that outside line is just coming around and making this run, KR.
Final time around as we get the white flag. Hancock in the 343. Gonna try and play spoiler here as he has put that car from the outside lane as a driver out in front. But here we go. Todd Poston pushing hard on the 343. Now comes Hancock down to the inside lane. Todd Poston in the 31 gonna follow him. Dana Osborne as we got one in the wall. Now they're going to crash behind them. That involves several cars, but Hancock on the throttle. Todd Poston in the 31. Can he make a move? And it looks like Todd Poston may just push this 343 all the way to victory here tonight. Russ Hancock picks up the win with Todd Poston in second and Les Levy finishing in third.
Man, crossing the line, a big wreck between the 61 and the 3. But man, what a last lap. That outside line came from almost nowhere, and just a great effort in pushing, and made that 343, made a great decision. And the 31 stayed with him going into the turn 3 and 4, and that's just a great race to the end there, KR. I wouldn't expect anything less than a massive wreck coming out of turn 4, and people playing spoilers to races.
Yeah, huge crashes off of turn number 4, huge crash down the back stretch. But man, oh man, Russell Hancock picking up his first win of the season. So guys, we are gonna step away from the microphones. We're gonna set up our post-race show. No one go anywhere. We'll be back to talk to our 3 podium finishing drivers. All right, man. Well, once again, congratulations. Nice job out there tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week as well.
All right, thank you, KR.
All right, that is our first place finisher, but now we are going to move on to our second place driver. That is none other than the 31 of Todd Poston, and Todd has been caught up with Travis Elliott.
Hey Todd, you got me, man?
Yes, sir, I do. How you doing?
Oh, great. Watching the closing of this race and watching you guys run that outside line about just about as textbook as you can. You did everything right coming out of turn 2, and you pushed that 343 clear, and there was a split second where you could have hopped out on the outside of him and made the run, but I'm assuming Russell is your teammate, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yes, sir, he is, and we were going for his first win. Not going to steal that away.
Yeah, the first win is always special, especially in a group of drivers like this where it's very competitive, and every win really matters. But man, I just want to say that's probably about the best I've seen anybody run that third line out this entire race that I've seen, and you guys did that perfectly, and great job pushing your teammate to a win and getting a P2 for you, and just want to give any shout outs to anybody, man, because you guys did a great job tonight.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to all the rest of the 3Y Motorsports guys. I know Stephen Herman, he was leading that bottom line when we were on the outside. I don't know. I think he got caught up in a turn or a wreck coming off the final turn, but he'll get up here next week, hopefully.
Yeah, we've seen Steven. I believe he did get caught up in that wreck there, but great job tonight for you and your guys' team getting a 1-2. And just thanks for the entertainment tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for broadcasting.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, good job, Russ.
All right, now we move on to our third place finisher here tonight, and that is none other than the driver of the 62 machine. That's Les Levy. Les, congratulations on finishing third out here tonight.
Thank you, KR. Good to have you up in the booth with Travis tonight.
Yeah, Travis was quite helpful out here, but maybe not as helpful as you were to some of these other cars, man. That 62 pushing hard all night long, and here you are with a rewarding third place finish.
Yeah, 10-4 carats. Really hoping I can get 7-11, get Steven that win. He spends a lot of time on the league and RC, and got a little door slam there from the 343, kind of tore the fender off and then kind of killed the day, but we were there at the end. That's what counts. This league takes 2 wins to get in, so it's a little bit more on point, so it's a great points night for me.
Well, the 62 with that third place finish, you're saying a great points night for you, and the Ricky Bobby Foundation maybe isn't going to kick you out because you didn't win, but maybe a little bit of homework to do so you can come to Daytona next week and win the thing.
Yeah, 10-4 care. I'm sure I'm going to have some homework and some e-learning. We're all in a remote mode at the foundation these days, so I'll probably have to do some online learning this week.
All right. Well, Les, any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to give before we call this a night?
Yeah, sure do, KR. First off, thoughts to David Booth. He's one of our Checkered Flag Motorsports drivers, recovering from a little bit of a minor medical issue. Hopefully he'll be back in the seat this week, so we hope he's doing well. Want to thank everybody at Checkered Flag Alliance, everybody who runs NSRA, of course, you guys at Turn 3 Motorsports, and of course, as you said, the Ricky Bobby Foundation for people who are challenged to go fast in their lives.
All right, man. Well, Les, once again, congratulations on third place.
Thank you, buddy. Be good.
All right, that is your third place finisher, Les Levy, getting it done out here tonight. Nothing left for us here in this show that we call racing, except for to show you tonight's race results. As we look at this, your Russ Hancock winner in his first race of the season. Todd Poston going to finish second. Third place going to Les Levy. Fourth, Justin Levine and DJ Mitchell going to round out the top 5.
Paul Servant coming in P6 with Chris Akers coming in P7. Daniel Holloway coming home in 8th place. Sean Stevens in 9th. And Mark Mann getting a top 10 finish here tonight.
Donald Sadusky finishing in 11th. 12th goes to Jason Graham. Stephen Herman, who took the green flag in that green-white checkered attempt from the pole position, going to end up in 13th spot. Dana Osborne in 14th, and Anthony English going to be in 15th spot.
Dan Harrington coming home in 16th place. Jimmy Reynolds in 17th. Donald Bennett coming home in 18th. 11 of Roy Grandy coming home in 19th. Len McNeese getting a P20 finish here tonight.
David Gainforth, Hunter Reynolds, Austin Derbyshire, J.R. Johnson, and J.D. Crow on 21st through 25th. And John Johnson, Douglas Johnson, and Jason Kinzer rounding out this field with Ben Peterson bringing up that final finishing spot here tonight. So guys, that is gonna do it for us. Travis Elliott, thank you so much once again for joining me out here. Hope you enjoyed your time. I know I enjoyed listening to you talk, but man, how about you sign us off?
I just want to thank everybody for watching the broadcast tonight. I hope you had about as much fun as I have, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week at Daytona, and expect some more good racing from the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Y'all have a great week. Stay safe. Good night.